Hey everyone, this is Alaska from Call Out Culture. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. And if you are enjoying the podcast and you feel inspired to start your own, let me tell you about the system that we use. It is called Anchor. Best things about Anchor, it's free. There's tools that allow you to create and record and edit your podcast right from your phone and your computer. You can even add a song from Spotify directly from into your episodes. The possibilities are endless of what you could create, whether it's like music analysis or your own radio show or something that the world's never heard before. I don't know what that is. You figure that out. Not my job, yours. Anchor is going to distribute the podcast for you so it'll be heard on Spotify, Apple, and all the other podcast you can use. Like all you do is you upload your podcast and boom, it appears in the other feeds. You can also make money through advertisements like this, or you can also set up like your own sort of Patreon fan support thing. There's no minimum listenership, and everything you need to make your podcast is in one place. So if you want to do a podcast, you want to be like us here at Call Out Culture, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and get started.
Welcome to Call Out Culture Podcast with Alaska, Curly Castro, and Zilla Rock. Welcome to Call Out Culture.
Welcome, everybody.
We're drinking strawberry cucumber AHA sparkling water.
Oh, that sounds...
Has this thing happened to you at all in New York, where in Philly now we're becoming like so meta and self-aware because like in the last 10 years like 90,000 people moved into Philly, and so they all want to be like locals, so everyone now has like Etsy shops or like local artisanal shops and stores, and they all like take the typical Philly slang and like our horrific accents and now like put it on everything. So now like all the major brands around here will like use it on billboards like to talk to us and our own stupid ass vernacular. So one of them would be if this was 1999 and then none of this existed, I'd say, dude, I'm drinking sparkling water. We say water.
Water, yeah.
Yo, dude, I'm drinking my water. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like when you watch like Mayor of Easttown, that's all the fucking Delco.
It's all that, yeah. It's like right. weird O sound. Like I remember when I went to go visit. I used to hang out down there with like Diggs Darklighter, and one of the times I was there, we went to like got like pork roll sandwiches, and
that's probably John's. Probably John's roast pork.
It could be, yeah. And then he was like, "You want to get water ice?" I was like, "The fuck are you talking about? Water ice.
Water ice.
Go to Rita's. We'll get a water ice."
Go to water.
Like, I don't know what the fuck a water ice is.
Water.
He's like, "Oh, do you know what an Italian ice is?" I was like, "Oh,
yeah."
Now
so
I know
call it water ice. So so like the last couple of years with Bryce Harper, he wears like those type of shirts.
Yeah.
Or like the Phillies spring trainings in Clearwater, and he wears a shirt to say Clearwater, like WOODER. You know what I mean? Now it's like too fucking Hollywood. So I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not really feeling. I'm not fucking with this shit.
It's fun. I started watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia again.
Yeah, you said that.
I didn't realize how on the accent Danny DeVito was.
Oh, he has Philly roots, I believe, or like
does
Philly
he? Okay.
Adjacent.
Because none of the other dudes have it. Nobody else on the show has it.
Well, because Rob is the only one from Philly.
Okay.
The rest of them are actors.
Yeah.
But like Rob went to the same high school I went to for an SAT prep program where kids used to get like robbed at knife point.
Okay.
It's called St.
So
Joe's
Rob is
Prep.
Mac, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then he bought when he first got like his first little checks from that show, like season 3 maybe, he bought like this kind of cool like smokers 1970s type of bar in Old City, and then called it Max.
Okay.
But this is like the show was like just picking up steam,
just
like
taking off, yeah.
So I'm not sure if that bar is even there, but yeah, like I remember watching the LeBron's decision there with Jeff Weiss at that bar.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good time.
That's what's up.
But it used to be called, because that area, Old City, it's like all fucking douchebags, like Armani, and like every worst trend in the world, everyone goes to that area of Philly to look like that.
Okay.
And Mac's Bar was like the last business left that wasn't Douche City.
That wasn't that.
It was called. I forget what it was called. It was like look like literally like a 1978 drinkery.
Nice.
You know what I mean? It just looked like shit. It was great.
I love places like that. I was I hung out with Chris from Beer Wax this weekend.
Oh, word.
And we were talking about drinking and shit. And he was like, so I like drinking sour beers, right? And he was like,
I've been getting into sours.
He's like, when'd you get into sours? And I would tell him the story. Like the first time I ever had one was at his bar. It was like years ago. And he was all excited. He's like, what'd you drink before that? I was like, man, I used to go to dive bars and drink High Life. Like that was
hell
it.
Yeah.
Like that was my shit. Like I would go and I would get like High Life all night.
You just spend like $16.
I know. You're fucking hammered. Yeah.
High Life's the fucking best, dude.
That's my favorite. That's the best. Beer. Dude, I used to go up to Albany a lot. We used to go to this bowling alley bar.
Oh, they're the best.
Called the Bears.
Drinks will be like $1.20 at a bowling alley bar.
Have like 3 hot dogs, 6 or 7 beers, and you're spending $20.
It's the best.
It's the best. It's wild.
Isn't it best like when you go to a place like that and you put like your $5 down for the drink and they give you back bad change and you're like,
you're like, what? Yeah, man, especially living out here, man. It's ridiculous.
New York, yeah. I remember the first time I was in New York like that, and I put like, it was like I bought like a fucking Yingling. I put a $10 bill up and they gave me like $2 back. I was like, the fuck is this?
Yeah.
That was years ago too. I was like, this is foul, dude. But anyway, me and Alaska are just fucking hanging out. I think that we did one before. This will be like part of his 2 of a series. Alaska and Zilla just hanging out.
Yeah, we just hung out and we kicked it because Castro was on the road.
Yeah, he's catching up from banging out them shows with Prem and Arm & Hammer, and shouts to everybody who went all those shows in Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine.
Yeah.
And then the boys are heading back out in early November for Canada, so they'll be up there doing it,
getting some much needed rest.
Yeah, seriously, a lot of talking. So you'll hear Castro if you subscribe to Free Music Empire. If you're a paid subscriber, the episode's up now where me, Alaska, and Castro talk 50 Get Rich or Die Trying with K Diggy and Dan. And then our latest episode is available to everybody now. And then if you're on our Patreon and you took part in our first ever Call Out Culture fantasy basketball draft, which Alaska had no idea would happen. I'm
just saying, like, Patreon people, I'm salty with y'all because I did the fantasy football draft and only me and who was it that signed up? Like me. What's that?
Pete Bone.
Was it Pete Bone?
Maybe.
No, I think what's homeboy's name from Houston?
Big RNSD, right?
Yeah, it was Big RNSD.
I think he bailed on the basketball one, but we had Pete Bone is in the league.
Okay.
He's in the basketball league, and I'm pretty sure the homie Woodpecker from Mars in the UK, he's in it.
Nice.
And then Dan knows in the league, Griff, Prem, me, Castro, Alex Ludovico, shouts my homie Max, and my man Andy, DJ Skinny Friedman, he's in it. I forget who else. Oh yeah, but shouts to Prem Rock taking Ben Simmons. You know, it's funny. Well, my wife was. I told people and shouts to Robin E from Next Movement. They're in it, right?
Nice.
When I'm driving home, pitch fucking black from Collegeville to South Philly, my wife's doing the draft. She's like picking for me, and I kept saying to her, "Yo, is Ben Simmons still available?" She'd be like, "Round 3, 4." I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, he's still there. He's still there, right?" And so last year, my fantasy draft, another league, it was like that with Al Horford, where I was in a league with all Philly dudes, and it was kind of like a big money league. And it was the season after Al Horford just was on the Sixers, and they were pretty good, but he was just a terrible fit. And every pick, Al Horford would be like best ranked player, Al Horford, and no one was taken for like 12 rounds. No one would take Al Horford because we were all Philly guys. Like, fuck him, dude. Fuck Al Horford, bro. Fuck him. So Simmons was like that in this draft because almost everybody I named is like either in or has lived in Philly or is a Sixers fan to some capacity. Like Dan knows and named he's a Sixers fan. So half the people in this fucking draft are Sixers adjacent, and Prem's the guy who takes them. I don't even know what round he went, but I was like, Prem, bro, really just let that go. But shouts to Prem taking the most highly contested basketball player. Even before all this shit happened.
I was talking with Paul and our homeboy Peter. We have like a Red Sox group text. So it's like every time the Red Sox make the playoffs, we just kick it off and we're like undefeated in playoff series since we've been doing it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
I'm kind of salty at Verdugo, man. I loved him on the Dodgers. I love Verdugo.
Yeah, man. He just started off the first rally to get the first grand slam. The Red Sox hit 3 grand slams in the last 2 games.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
But we were talking about Ben Simmons, and they're like, we'll take Ben Simmons on the Celtics.
You listen. I'll tell you this right now. No,
yeah.
I'll give people my quick. I mean, I've had literally hours of discussion about this man since June, July, right? With every person I know. I'll say this. And I think we've probably talked about it on the show here and there. Me and Prem are diehard Simmons dudes. I got a Simmons jersey, of course, last Christmas. I took Simmons over Steph Curry last year in my fantasy league. That's how real it was for me, right? So if anyone's jilted and scorned, it's me. Having said all of that, he's a really fucking good player. The issue is this, and I'll wrap it up with this. The 4 years he's been in the league, you've had, I don't know what the New York equivalent or Boston equivalent would be. He's the type of player where he's in a hotly contested market, right, where people don't suffer fools. And he's meeting expectations. However, you have the contingency of the outsiders and then the sports talk radio shitheads that just trash him all day, right? So not only do you have like Boston media and fucking Bill Simmons and all that shit, then you also have, fucking Merv from Roxborough here in Philly and fucking Vinny from South Philly. He's a fucking pussy, bro. He's a coward. He can't fucking Ben. Why don't you fucking shoot threes? What the fuck? Like, okay. So you're dealing with that on the inside from your own friends and family on top of other people. So here you are defending him to 2 sets of people, the outsiders and then the insiders, right? Mm-hmm. So this year, when they blow it against, and we were recording the episode with Blockhead when they blew a 26-point lead at home, right? When that happened, and then he's not the reason they lost series, but his play was so catastrophic of a gaffe. That's the moment when he validated all the dickheads on sports talk radio, right? And all the national people saying he's a clown, right? He validated them. And then all the people defending him were like, they were right. He is a fucking pussy. So now we all hate him. Like he had the cultist defenders like me and Prem. Yeah. And after that play, it's like, I can't defend you anymore, bro. I can't.
Dude, he had an open shot and he turned it away.
He at 6'10" could have dunked on a 5'10" man and did a no-look pass, right? Yeah. So, but again, there's a million other reasons why they lost that game in that series. But that play was like, it's like Paul Sorvino and Godfather. I mean, in Goodfellas when he gives Ray Liotta the money. Yeah, he's like, okay, now I gotta wipe my hands. Yeah, now I'm done. Yeah. Okay, here it is. Yeah. So that play is like, not, everyone who defended you now turns their back on you, and the people that hated you are being like, "See, I fucking told you we should trade him." And so it's like he's in the worst spot in the world. But if he goes to Sacramento or fucking Cleveland or Minnesota or wherever, those fans are gonna have to talk themselves out of that shit and be like, "Well, he plays great defense. He can handle the ball." The same thing we've all been doing here for 4 years. So
it's like Carolina Panthers fans talking themselves into Sam Darnold.
Or even when the Eagles had what was that quarterback? Sam right before
Sam Bradford.
Yeah, like Eagles fans like talking themselves into Sam Bradford. Like, well, I mean, if he's healthy, his completion percentage is pretty fucking great. Yeah. They flipped him for like 3 picks. Remember like Minnesota? They flipped him real quick.
He was so bad that they changed the salary structures for rookie quarterbacks.
Because the whole league was mad. All the veterans were like, wait a second.
So he made like $100 million and took like 12 snaps in his career.
The most games he probably ever played in one season was 12 games.
Yeah, and Max. He sucked.
Max. Yeah. He's had them big fucking shoulders and that hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had like Wasp Charlottesville vibes going on.
He was like Cherokee or some shit.
He was. Yeah, he definitely had. Yeah, he had like that stoic face.
Yeah. Yeah, but he was he was tough as shit in college though.
He was, and he's gonna get his ass lit up all the time.
Yeah, and then he started getting hit by like pro players.
Yeah,
It's a whole different story.
Yo, shouts to 150 episodes until we start talking about Sam Bradford on Call Out Culture podcast.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why
we don't have a concept tonight. We're just kicking it.
We're just
Alaska,
kicking it.
We were going to do this for Patreon only, but Alaska has a really cool comparison. So why don't we take our first Manscaped break?
All right. Let's go to the Manscaped minute.
Yeah, let's do the Manscaped minute with Alaska. And then so go clip your balls and come back and then press play again. We'll be right back. Peace.
Hey, Call Out Culture listeners. I want to let you know about a new sponsor for Call Out Culture. That's right. We're brought to you today by Manscaped, who is the best below-the-waist grooming champions of the god-darn world. That's right, Manscaped. They're going to give you precision engineering tools around your family jewels. No more of those rusty scissors with glue on them that your kids were using. No more of those weird, kitchen drawer scissors that you're going to use that might give yourself a homemade vasectomy. You're getting the top of the line tools with their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right. It's 4.0 and it's the Lawnmower. You ever seen the Fenway Park outfield where they do the sock in the middle of the field? You could do that with your junk with the 4.0. Trust me, I've done it. And I've got the green monster. Well, it used to be green, but now it's not anymore. That's right. So there's over 2 million men worldwide who have used Manscaped and trust Manscaped, and you could get down with this by using the exclusive offer. You're going to get 20% off, free worldwide shipping if you use the code COC20 at manscaped.com. So you put that code in at checkout, you're going to get hooked up with the whole thing. That's right, 20% off, free shipping. That code again, COC20, and just go to manscaped.com. That's 20% free shipping, manscaped.com, and the goddamn code is COC20. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job. Manscaped. No more having to use the power sander, fellas. Manscaped. The Lawnmower 4.0. Get your shit tight, get it right, and go to Manscaped. You can even get other things like underwear. You could get weird, not weird, I guess, good smelling lotions to put down there and make your stuff not smell like bleachy and weird like you've been running around all day. You get it all. Just use the code COC20 at manscaped.com and you will get 20% off, free shipping, and a beautiful set of balls that you could put on your Christmas tree if you want. Show your family. Everybody will be proud. They'll be like, look at my son's balls. They're so taut, so well shorn. And that's all because you went to Manscaped. So be the pride of your mom. Be the jewel in her eye. Go to manscaped.com, mother effers. Peace.
Come back. 3, 2, 1. Boom, 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 boom. Call Out Culture. Oh, yes, we're back. So briefly, we're saying, so Patreon, if you join the Call Out Culture Fantasy Basketball League, shouts to Prem Rock for drafting Ben Simmons. That's really the only point I wanted to get to. And then shouts to me for getting an argument with my wife during the draft while I was driving. And it auto drafting for me, because she threw my phone and I deserved it. Kevin Durant over Joel Embiid. So I'm taking offers for Durant. I just saw him in person last week. He looked really good. I need to have one Sixer. All right. I don't have any Sixers this year. Last year I had Simmons. I had Shake Milton. Makes me enjoy the game more. So I'm listening to some offers out here. Kevin Durant's available. All right. So Alaska had a really cool talking point. And he's our horror sensei. He's the guru.
I like a horror movie.
You really do. And I think I'm smart because I've been watching the Eli Roth History of Horror on AMC every week. They had on last year. It was great. Where they'll break down,
I watched a couple of those. Yeah,
they're great. Like this week was like psychic horror movies that they had Dead Zone and fucking Scanners and all that shit.
Word.
Then they had Doctor Sleep. I'm like, that movie sucked.
I haven't seen it yet, but it looks bad.
Dude, it's so bad.
And I had any desire to watch that shit.
They had Stephen King's son talking about it. He's a horror writer too.
Okay.
And I'm like, they're interviewing the director and all this shit. And I was like, dude, that movie was a fucking joke.
Yeah, that shit looked terrible.
I think you gave me the movie. at one
I
point.
did?
Yeah, like you gave me a bunch of movies, like free joints.
Oh, the screener joints.
Yeah. So I watched it on some like couple months went by. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll check this out. And by the time it was over, I was like, that was a complete waste of time. I'm glad that didn't cost me any money. But that's neither here nor there, talking illegal shit. So you had a theory about Nas and Halloween. So for listeners that don't know Halloween that well, me included, you got to break all the whole history. Right. We know Nas.
So let's go into it. So yesterday my daughter and I went to see Halloween Kills, which is like the latest Halloween movie.
Yes.
And it's, it's sort of like the last two Halloween movies have been like directed by David Gordon Green.
Really?
Yeah.
David Gordon Green.
Fuck is his name? Why am I blanking the homeboy's name, dude? From Eastbound and Down. Danny McBride wrote them. Yeah,
what?
They're crazy horror fans.
Hold the fuck on. Wait a second.
Yeah.
David Gordon Green and Danny McBride wrote Halloween
And Halloween Kills, and I guess Halloween Ends, which is the next one.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
This is very interesting.
So so we saw it, and it was basically just like a kill fest, right? Okay. But there's this podcast I listen to called Halloweenies, which is like a dope horror podcast.
Okay.
And they were talking about it, and they were like, some of them liked it, some of them didn't. Right. The ones that liked it sort of went into it the same way I did. It's like, I just want to see like fun kills.
Okay.
Like, I'm not looking for like, you to tell me an important social commentary. I'm not looking for like the Criterion Collection, right? No. So to me, it was like, it did everything it needed to do. He killed 27 motherfuckers. He was putting like fluorescent light bulbs in people's throats. He put like 17 knives in Lenny Clark's back.
Oh,
it was like, shit was dope.
Okay.
And when I was listening to it, the thing I started realizing is like Halloween fans are like obsessed with the very first movie, the 1978 John Carpenter movie.
Okay.
Which is like a classic horror movie.
Okay, so can I just pause you right there?
Yeah.
So over the weekend, I had to do like a lot of babysitting and hanging out, and I had a lot of downtime also. So I watched a fuckload of Squid Game, which is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I still have to watch that one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not. I thought it was just gonna be like like Battle Royale, and it's not. It's got like some good, deeper overtones about. It's kind of like Parasite in that way. And it's really fun and violent. But then I was also watching that Netflix shit, Movies That Made Us. Yeah. Okay, so I basically watched all of those. So
yeah, because this season's all about horror movies.
Yeah, so it's and then like RoboCop, which is fucking awesome.
Always, yeah.
Oh, it's great. So watching Halloween, it was Halloween, Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Nightmare on Elm Street, right?
Okay.
So I have a passing view of these, having either seen them all at some point, like some iteration of them, or when it's around Halloween, they'll just be on and I'll catch like 20-30 minutes here and there.
Yeah.
So all I know about the original Halloween was like, and I think I might have fallen asleep during the Netflix version, but just how, because it was so fucking low budget, it added to the heightened horror of Michael Myers. Okay, that's all I really know. Okay.
So I mean, that's a lot of it, right? It's like it's considered a classic. Like this one actually is in the Criterion Collection. Like it's that important of a movie. Like it created the sort of modern slasher genre as we know it, right?
Right.
It was a low budget movie. It went on to make a ton of fucking money. And it's a legitimately terrifying movie.
Right.
Like, it's just like this sort of silent killer that just like stalks his way through the night, hiding, coming out of shadows, like amazing soundtrack, the whole shit. Like they create a brilliant world, characters you care about, the whole shit. Like Jamie Lee Curtis kills it.
Yep.
All the other characters are dope. And there's just like little cool things in the dialogue, like just the way like kids talk, right? Like, they mention like somebody like, oh, you want to go with Ben Tramer to the dance.
Right.
So it's just like something like that. Like it gives you a feel like, okay, this is the town. Like you're starting to feel things about the town. Like you kind of like get these people's lives.
Okay.
And this killing machine gets thrown into it.
Awesome.
So the movie ends. Like it was only supposed to be a one-off movie. The movie ends where like, and it's a 42-year-old movie, so no spoiler alerts. Right. But Michael Myers gets shot by his psychiatrist. He falls off the balcony of the house. They look down, he's dead.
Fucking right, yeah.
Boom. So they, the psychiatrist is like, "You okay?" To Laurie Strode, who's Jamie Lee Curtis character. Yeah. They look back down, he's gone.
Right.
And then it ends where you hear his breathing growing louder and louder as they're just going to like the camera's going to all the spots that you've seen throughout the movie. Like, so it's just like he's out there, like the evil is out there, like, and boom, it ends. And that was supposed to be it. There was never supposed to be anything else.
Right.
And it's a classic, right? Like it's the classic. It's the one that set off the genre. It inspired Friday the 13th. It inspired like My Bloody Valentine. It inspired all of that.
And they said as much in the Netflix one where they were like, "Oh, Halloween's a big phenomenon. Let's just make a movie exactly like that."
That's exactly what they didn't even have. Friday the 13th didn't even have a script.
It was just a title.
It was just a title, and they put an ad in the paper.
Yes.
And boom, that's how that went. And so that came out, and that raised the stakes. It made it more gory. So now, in 1981, Halloween 2 comes out, and it's a good movie.
So wait, what year did the first one come out?
78.
Okay, bet.
So the first one's 78. I think Friday the 13th was 80. 81 is Halloween 2. Like, boom, slashers are making a ton of movies now.
Let me ask you this then real quick.
Yeah.
Do you think because the first Halloween came out during the 70s, which to me is like the best fucking era of movies.
Yeah.
Do you think if it would have came out in 84, if it is as good? Like, is it one of them just standalone amazing pieces regardless of whenever it comes out?
Yeah, but it might not have been able to come out the way it came out in 84.
Fair enough.
Right. Okay. And as part of the thing, like with the movie now, like the movie can never go back to being what it was, even though they're always like, we're bringing it back to the original.
I feel like so the only one I saw in theater when it came out was the Rob Zombie joint.
Yeah.
And I remember the thing at the time, because I remember seeing House of a Thousand Corpses in the theater. And in South Philly, when I went, like people started walking out of that movie. They thought it sucked. Right. And so I just kind of stayed because it was just like watching like the mind of like a meth addict with like a lot of editing equipment. Like it was just so fucking deranged.
You're talking about Halloween.
No, the House of a Thousand Corpses.
Okay, word.
I remember it was like banned, and it was like delayed for like 3 years, and there was all this hubbub around it, right?
Yeah.
So then when he did the Halloween movie, however many years later, I was like, oh. And I remember the vibe being like he's taking it back to like its roots or some shit. And I remember after it ended, I was like, well, it was like a brutal kind of violence in that one. But I didn't know enough about the original to know if he did a good job or not. I just kind of walked out with being like, that was crazy as fuck, but I don't really know if it was good.
So the original is a very quiet movie.
Okay.
It's quiet. It's like slow. It's methodical. It like just creates like a sense of tension throughout the whole movie.
Dope.
And the Rob Zombie one is just like junkies yelling in your face.
It wasn't quiet. I just remember like the whole like he's wearing a mask. He's like a fucked up kid wearing a mask or something.
Yeah. And it was a cool idea maybe to like explore who he was as a kid. But usually when you do that, it just ruins whatever mystery there is.
True.
Right. So, but he also didn't want to make that movie. He wanted to make a movie that was more like kind of crazy. Like it didn't necessarily deal with the Michael Myers origin story. And it's similar to what he did with Halloween 2, which is actually a pretty good movie if you take it out of the Halloween universe and just like watch it as this is a horror movie.
Some wild shit. Okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of like some crazy shit.
All right, so I'm derailing you. Go ahead, go back to the original.
Yeah, so basically, for Halloween 2, the studio comes to John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, who did the first one. Right. And they're like, here's a shit ton of money. Let's make this movie. Like Dino De Laurentiis.
Yo, shouts to Billy Woods.
No, I'm sorry, Brian De Palma. Brian De Palma's involved in it.
Okay, because Billy Woods, I always give Woods credit for shouting out Dino De Laurentiis, one of his songs.
Let me just see. Hold on. Let me just make sure.
Because I remember seeing his name on one of the posters when I watched the Netflix, the movies that made us joint. And I was like, there's Dino. I always think of Woods.
Yeah, it might be Dino De Laurentiis.
My favorite Dino is Dino Cicerelli from 90s NHL.
Yeah.
And he said about Paul Lemieux, I can't believe I shook this friggin' guy's hand. Anyway.
So it was Dino De Laurentiis. But they basically made it into a slasher movie, right? Now it's a little bit different. It's not like
and this is post Friday the 13th?
This is post Friday the 13th.
Okay, cool.
So it's almost like the reaction to Friday the 13th.
Correct. That's what I'm kind of figuring out. Okay.
So, but it was a good movie. It was cool. Like I remember watching as a kid and being kind of freaked out. I watched it again recently.
Okay.
I'll say it was cool.
Okay.
You know, it's not great. It's not nearly as good as the original. I don't think it's as good as the two that just came out.
Okay.
I don't even think it's as good as like Halloween H2O. But
Ooh,
so that happens, right? Then the third one comes out. The third one has nothing to do with anything, and that was John Carpenter's original vision. His original vision was it was going to be an anthology series.
Cool. Okay.
Right. So every movie's going to be a different story.
You know, I was thinking about this too, real quick. Was if it comes out today, right? It wouldn't be titled Halloween. It'd be called fucking Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Right. They would really drive that thing, or even like the Saw franchise. It's about what happens. Motherfuckers cut their legs off.
Yeah.
It wouldn't just be called Halloween.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah. It would kind of clue you into like people are gonna get killed.
Yeah. Well, you even look at like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. Eventually, they went on to be like Freddy
versus Jason, right?
Freddy's dead. Freddy's Final Nightmare.
Jason takes Manhattan. Jason X.
Exactly. Jason goes to hell. Like all those things.
Yes,
right?
they kind of put the guy in the front.
Yeah, and part of that's because of legal issues too, but that's a whole different thing.
Okay.
So the next movie is just like this weird story about like this guy that owns this mask company that put like these microchips in the masks that are gonna like kill anybody that wears the mask.
Sure. All right.
So I actually watched it for the first time last night. It's
wait. Is this a precursor to the COVID vaccine?
It is, yes, yeah. It's the story of the COVID vaccine.
It's the origin story, but as a mask. But it does the same thing.
It does exactly the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So then that movie flops. And
so
then
what year is Halloween 3?
Halloween 3 is
I don't have the whole thing.
82. It's called The Season of the Witch.
Okay. Halloween. Okay. I'm gonna look that up. Halloween 3. Okay. All right, go on.
So then 8 years go by, you got Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers. Then you got Halloween 6, The Revenge of Michael Myers in 89. In 95, you got Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers.
So now they're putting his name in the fucking mix.
They're putting his name and everything, yeah.
Okay, so then 5, I remember.
And those movies all suck. Yeah,
all
those
bad.
movies suck. Yeah.
Okay, but it looks like real quick, and I remember this very briefly. I just remember there was like a girl with like scissors and fucks him up or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like that's like a reaction like Dream Warriors or something.
It could be, yeah. I mean,
we're like, we're clapping at this dude. We're gonna fuck him up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is, and it's like even like Friday the 13th Part 4, they got Tommy Jarvis, who kills Jason.
Yes. Okay.
Shouts to him. So I mean, these movies suck.
Okay.
And it's like people are like enough, and then Scream comes out. There's a fucking relaunching of slasher movies.
Scream was the shit, bro.
Scream is dope. So they're like, let's bring Halloween back. Let's bring in the dude that wrote Scream. It's the 1998 20-year anniversary.
Yes.
So dude that writes Scream, and if you watch it, it's very much like a Scream movie.
Okay.
But it's pretty good. It's a pretty good movie.
I saw it when it came out because it was like, LL, like, isn't Bustin's Halloween?
No, Bustin's in Halloween Resurrection.
Okay.
Which comes out like 4 years later and sucks.
Yeah, I didn't like. I remember H2O. I don't remember. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah. Michelle Williams is in this shit.
Michelle Williams,
and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Josh Hartnett.
Adam Arkin.
This cast is it's got a dope cast. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's solid. And then and in that one they kill Michael Myers off.
Okay. I remember don't they cut his head off or some shit? Yes, I remember this. Yeah. Okay. Just spoiler alert.
Spoiler. I mean, it's a 20-year-old movie.
Yeah, 20. It's now 20 years old, right?
Yeah. But then 4 years later, somehow he comes back. Halloween Resurrection.
Because he gets resurrected.
Yeah, which
also like the
COVID vaccine. He doesn't get resurrection. they retcon the scene where it's like there's this like cult of Thorn or some shit that like they basically like pulled Michael Myers out, put somebody in Michael Myers uniform, and Jamie Lee Curtis killed like a gardener.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, it's fucking ridiculous.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's so fucking dumb. And then so wait, she's in Resurrection, right?
She's in it, but I think she dies quickly in Resurrection. Oof. But this is the one with like Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks.
Oh, my girl Katie Sackhoff's in this one.
Yeah.
Love her. She was in 24. Shouts to Katie.
Yeah. So, basically it's like, it's a reality TV show one. Like, let's do Michael Myers in the reality TV show era. Right. So it's like, you got 24 hours to survive a night in Michael Myers' house.
Okay.
That's the whole story. And it sucks. It's a really bad movie.
Okay.
So then it goes away again. It comes back with the Rob Zombie joints.
Yes. Okay.
Like, 5 and 7 years later. And people are like, oh shit. Like, we're going to bring it back. We're going to make it gritty. It's going to be dope.
Yes.
And, those movies, we already discussed them.
Yes.
And then, another 11 years pass and we get the Joseph Gordon or whatever, Gordon Green.
Dennis, John, I forget his name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That shit comes out Halloween 18. And it's basically just almost a remake of the original.
Okay.
But,
I'm
definitely
interested
more
in that
polished.
one then. Halloween.
It's good. I mean, I think it's
Halloween?
dope. It's called Halloween 2018.
Okay. So wait, I just want to look. So they did Halloween 1 through 5.
Yeah.
Then 6 is just called The Curse of Michael Myers.
The Curse of Michael Myers.
Okay, but it's not called Halloween 6 in the title.
And that one has Paul Rudd in it, just so you know.
Paul Rudd. I love it. All right. And then essentially Halloween H2O is Halloween 7, right?
Yeah.
And that effectively ends it.
Actually, no, because this is where it gets stupid. This is something that they do throughout this. There's they kind of like eliminate some of the movies. Like, it's like, we're just actually picking up from this movie. So H2O in the H2O universe,
they kind of
did
like
the
Superman
for
movies
Halloween.
Too. They kind of did that in the Superman movies.
Halloween 1 and 2 exist, and then it goes to H2O. So all that other shit doesn't exist in this.
And
world.
this is what they did with X-Men too. They did the same thing with X-Men. Like,
and it's what they did with the 2018 Halloween. So the 2018 Halloween picks up 40 years after the first one. None of the other story exists.
Okay. So then, all right, let me pause you 1 second. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So the 2007 Rob Zombie one.
Yeah.
That is a prequel.
It's just a new timeline. It's like basically they're just like redoing it, starting it over again.
Okay, got you. And then the 2018 what's the name? Danny McBride joints.
Yeah.
That actually connects to the first
very first one. Yeah, so nothing after the first one exists.
David Gordon Green. I keep saying
David Gordon Green. Yes.
Judy Greer's in this one. Will Patton.
Yeah, Judy Greer's in it. Yeah, it's got a dope. Your boy Toby Huss is in it.
Toby Huss.
Yeah, Toby Huss.
Yo, peep this. The movie cost $10 million and made $255 million.
Yeah, it fucking banked.
Damn.
The new one made like $50 million this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, people want these movies. They like them.
They do. So put it this way. The first one, the Rob Zombie only made 80.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, but they're sort of divisive movies, right? The audience is split. Some people love them.
Okay.
Some people hate them.
Fair enough.
Purists hate them, right? So I was listening to the Halloweenies podcast, and they were talking about like all the shit and like,
right.
They've basically done like recaps of every single movie. Like they just basically take a horror franchise, they watch it, and they talk about it.
Right, right.
So they were talking about it, and I was just listening to them talk about it, and I was like, you guys sound like Illmatic fans.
Whoa.
Like the ones that hate it, because it's like they're obsessed with this original out-the-box genre-changing thing.
Yes.
That nothing after it can ever possibly live up to again.
No.
And then I really started like looking at the similarities between the two things, right? So the 1978 original classic inspired a whole genre of shit to follow after. Illmatic, same shit, right? Rebirth in New York rap, boom.
Yes.
So Halloween 2 is all this other shit is blowing up now, right? Everybody's checking this other shit, like you're checking Jason, you're checking
Freddy,
My Bloody Valentine, you're checking all this shit. Valentine, like the game keeps getting up. So boom, we're gonna make a slasher movie that's a response to that.
Yes. And then that's what
it was written.
It was written, right?
It was written as like, he's got to keep up with Biggie, keep up with all that, and Woo, right?
Yep.
So it's like now he's making his reactionary record to what they're doing.
They Law did the same thing, right?
Oh yeah, they did, but
they all do. It sucks.
They all do, yeah. But it's.
I want to talk about this later, but yeah, this is good. This is a good point.
Here's where it really starts working. The next 3 or 4 movies suck.
So the next 3 Nas albums are I Am, Nostradamus,
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a 1-for-1 comparison.
Yeah, but it's the same thing of like diminishing returns.
It's diminishing return, like just like, oh, this is really bad.
Right.
Right. And then H2O comes and you're like, oh, this
Stillmatic.
isn't what it, this is Stillmatic. Like, it's not what it was, but it's like a newer, crisper version of it. It's sort of like, a polished.
It reminds me of the thing I liked before.
Exactly. And it has really cool moments in it that I really like.
Sure.
Not everything's great. The Michael Myers mask is really weird. Nas kind of, it's like some shitty beats on the record.
I mean, Got Yourself a Gun, not a great singer.
Yeah. But then everybody's like, holy shit, it's back. Friday the 13th. I mean, Halloween is back. Nas is back. And then, you get Godson, which is like, You get a bunch of like other shit.
You know what I mean?
It made you look, but but then you get like hip hop's dead.
The Crossed. Hip hop is dead.
What else you got in there? Like
a Street's Disciple, which I was playing today.
Street's Disciple.
There's some really
Untitled.
good songs there. Untitled is joyless. Oof.
Yeah. Untitled's joyless.
It's totally
Life is
joyless.
Good, which is really good record.
Really good.
So that's the only one that I'm having trouble with. I don't know where that one fits in.
That to me is the David Gordon Green joint.
No.
Okay,
the King's Disease 1 and 2 are.
Oh, okay.
Because they're very divisive records. Like, some people really love them.
Okay.
Some people think they suck.
Okay, so then
in this camp. But then Nasir is the Rob Zombie ones. Because you're excited. Okay. You're like, oh, they're gonna bring it back. It's gonna be Kanye. Like, he's gonna
I feel like how about Life is Good and Nasir is the Rob Zombie era.
There you go.
Because when Life is Good hit, he had the one joint called Nasty.
Yeah.
Where he's rhyming off of his fucking, he's just crushing it, right? And you're like, whoa. And then he has the song Locomotive where he says trapped in my 90s M bombs and large pros on the hook. And you're like, whoa. And then the rest of the album is the breakup album. There's a couple club songs and
there's shit with Amy Winehouse.
Right. But it teased you so well, being like, oh, he knows this is what we like and he's doing it. You know what I mean? And then the rest of the album just Nas shit. You know what I mean? But so like the Rob Zombie one, again, I only saw it once in the theater when it first came out, fucking 14 years ago. But I remember being like, oh, like I remember the scene like in a bathroom, someone gets fucking destroyed in a bathroom.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And there's like a scene like in a fireplace or something. I can't remember, but there was a couple parts where I was like,
it's like punching through the wall or like stabbing through the wall.
He seemed more in that movie as like a hulking, like the Thing hulkish, like
he was behemoth.
Like he's you look at him, you're like, yeah, of course I couldn't kill this guy one-on-one, right?
He's a T-1000.
Yes, he just nothing's really gonna stop this person.
No.
But again, like after it was over, I was like, well, that was really cool, but I didn't. It wasn't like, man, that's like when I saw Scream, like going back to what you said about that. Yeah. Scream really was like, holy shit. As you're watching it, you're like, even Scream 2 is like really cool.
Yeah.
And so when you're watching those, like, this is a different league than watching some hulky, sweaty, panting man kill the shit out of a bunch of people that kind of deserve it. So I feel like anyway, to tie it in with the Nas stuff, it's like, like Nas, when he wants to, he is the fucking best of all time. Like,
when he wants to,
those moments, right? And then but then other times you look around, you're like, but is this album better than the new Freddie Gibbs? I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of, or anybody, I just pick like, this is better than Pusha T's album. I don't know. I mean, these moments are is this better than, well, you look back, you're like, yeah, but it's Nas. Like, he's a freight train. So I kind of tied that and Nasir to the Rob Zombie pieces where you're like, pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it has some good stuff in it.
Right. But then when you looked at albums that year, you weren't like, oh, this is the best album of the year.
Yeah. No.
You're like, well, these were cool. I'm glad they're here.
Yeah.
I'm happy they exist.
Yeah. And King's Disease is another one. Like, so the two comparisons to me are this. They're both defined by the very first thing they did.
Sure.
Genre defining.
Got you.
And then everything after that is like, we're bringing it back. We're giving you the Halloween you want. We're giving you the Nas you want.
Yes.
And it's just like a series of disappointments with the occasional sprinkled in, like, oh, that's actually pretty good.
Right.
But it's something that you can never hit that original energy again, because like the thing that it was such an original, impactful piece.
Okay.
That it's never gonna like be matched by this artist again. Like there's no way Nas can make an album like that again. And there's no way they can make a Halloween movie that's just this quiet sort of thriller.
Yes.
You know, it has to increase the kill count. It has to be more violent. It has to have like stunt casting. It has to have Easter eggs.
Yes.
It can never just be, here's this like scary little story.
Well, that was my qualm with the Batman movies.
Yeah.
Where I was like, they've made 15 Batman movies, and in none of the Batman movies is he the world's greatest detective.
No.
Which is his fucking claim to fame in the books. He's the world's best detective. He's Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
It's not about anything. It's not about the fucking parents getting killed 1,000 times on screen.
Nope.
It's not about the Joker outfoxing him and, you know, being just as elaborate, even though he's quote an agent of chaos, but he has the most plans in the world. It's about this dude. And so the new one seemingly looks like, because it's based off Seven and other, you know, big budget detective movies. But then the trailer, it's like him being an edgelord, like fucking people up and like, I am vengeance.
Yeah.
But I think they're like hitting people with the Trojan horse with this one, because apparently it's really just a 2-hour detective story.
That would be dope.
They want to pull on the edgelord, Warner Brothers, Nolan, Ben Affleck punching motherfuckers to death.
Yeah.
They want to bring that back in. But I've always been saying, like, yeah, the Nolan movies are really good, but he doesn't figure anything out.
No.
he's never the smartest guy in the room.
No,
which he's always that's why he outfoxes everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Like the Nolan ones suck. I mean, they don't suck. They're great movies, but they don't need to be repeated ad nauseum.
No, not at all.
Like shit, I want a campy Batman.
I'm at that point now too where, okay, why don't we take a break? I'm going to throw in some reactions to this stuff because this is fantastic. Let's take our second Manscaped break. Make sure you go to Manscaped. Use our promo code. So your boys
COC 20%
off that crotch grooming industry. It's booming.
You know what I mean?
Groom that crotch.
Yeah. keep your front porch clean.
We'll be back. Call Out Culture. Shouts to Castro resting up after a good tour.
Yeah. Double down, boy. New album, Vegas Vic, from yours truly, Zilla Rock. First solo album since 96 Mentality. Out on Chung Wizard Records. Right now, available around the world. You can cop the digital on iTunes if you want. You can buy it for a G on Bandcamp if you're a real boss like that. However you want to get it, we got tapes, very limited, CDs also. Beautiful vinyl, all the artwork designed by PQ. Got everybody from Call Out Culture, Wrecking Crew in the mix. Album executive produced by Disco Vietnam. This joint is fly, energetic, fun. Roulette tables popping. Free drinks all night with the cherry in there. Whatever you want to get, we're doubling down. We're going to get in the car. We're riding out to America's Playground. Vegas Vic, Zilla Rock, a new album, out now.
Steel's Kitchen, the new compilation from us, Wrecking Crew. The follow-up to last year's Raheem's Lament, dropping June 4th at wreckingcrew.bandcamp.com. All new joints from Shrapnel, Career Crooks, Cargo Colts. All new solo songs from me, Small Pro, Curly Castro, and Prem Rock. Alaska's on there. Marcus Pinn's doing cuts all up and then out. Peace. Fresh Kill's got a beat on there. Shouts to Canada. We got Jason Griff on this piece. Stan Ipkiss. Fat Boy Sharif, our very dear friend. Scorsese, rest in peace. He's on there. Yo, man. Disco Vietnam, Dose 4GW. Whew. Mastered by Cryptic, one of the Adams fam, and artwork and design by PQ. Family affair. And our family's the illest. Wrecking Crew, Steel's Kitchen, June 4th. Get it.
Hey friends, it's me, your friendly neighborhood podcast host, Alaska. And I'm here to tell you about an exciting new project that I just released with my friend Jason Griff. You might know Jason Griff from his many appearances on the Call Out Culture podcast, as well as his groundbreaking work with the Griff Scorsese Midnight Express album. Also, his solo project, Fireside Chats. You need a sweater and a bearskin rug for that one, fellas. Anyway, We just dropped a new record called Human Zoo. And Human Zoo examines the cages that we put around society and the self-imposed cages we put around ourselves. It features exciting tracks like Reboot, featuring Fat Boy Sharif, and Animal Farm, featuring Love Ulysses. We also have additional vocals from the likes of Alex Ludovico. Not Ludovico, Ludovico with a C. See what I'm saying there, people? And Premrock. And then the All Hook All the Time track, featuring vocal stylings from Curly Castro, Zilla Rocca, Def C, Rob Sonic, Breezely Bruin, and Open Mike Eagle. If you like the rap music, folks, you're gonna want to get this record. It's a must-have for every true aficionado, and you could get it at insubordinaterecords.com. Alaska, out.
We're back again.
We're back.
Manscaped porch break is over.
You know
Okay,
what I mean?
so I want to throw something in back at you about this stuff.
Okay.
Right? I think all this stuff is really interesting because I think you're saying about like a campy Batman, right?
Yeah.
And so since I've had a child, I look at superhero stuff as like what is for him and what is for me, right?
Yeah.
So as I'm getting older, I'm realizing now that comics, and I buy comics every week. Comics are not for fucking kids. Period.
No.
Not at all. They'll have
No.
comics for kids, but the actual kids comic section in a comic book store, it's like getting like Japanese imports of fucking rap singles back in the day. It's like, well, we kind of have it to say we have it.
Yeah.
But no one's actually hanging out over there checking this shit, right? So they have it where they'll have, like fucking Blue's Clues comics or Sonic the Hedgehog comics or whatever, right? But it's not like real shit. The whole store is for fucking adults with money, not 7, 8-year-olds, because 8-year-olds don't give a fuck.
Man.
Right. So when I watch like Thor Ragnarok or Guardians, like I've gone back and seen them in the last few months, and I'm like, these really are the best Marvel movies because they capture the idea that comics are actually for kids. And the characters are quite fucking silly if you really think about it, right? But what the writers have done is really make these characters worthwhile and have like real problems, which is cool without being, like a brooding edgelord Bruce Wayne type of guy. So those movies to me, like, and Shazam, like they walk the line of an adult can rock with it all day and then a kid can really like it, right? Versus a Nolan Batman movie, I can't see anybody under like 25 liking that shit. You know what I mean? Like you can like Joker as a badass, but the movie, if you're like 15, are you gonna like that movie? You know what I mean? Like being the white, and it's because it's all about like how far do you go to preserve a city? Like it's a lot of it's like a lot of heavy shit in that movie. So when it comes to the slasher stuff, and the like, I feel like where the Halloween movies started going is, like you said, they were trying to keep pace with all the things that came after it. But are they trying to keep pace with like horror slasher fans, or are they just trying to keep throwing the lasso around like the Halloween niche diehards? Like, what is it?
I think it's the same thing that Star Wars falls into, right?
Okay.
Like you're trying to get new fans, but you also want to appease your old fan, right?
Right.
So the thing that I think with the Halloween movies, like when I went into Star Wars, it was the same thing. Like I just like being in the Star Wars universe. Like I just want to have fun.
Right.
Like I don't care about like, oh, that was like a throwback to this like one scene in the first movie. Like when I see it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Right. But I'm not going for that. I'm just going to like I went to see Michael Myers kill people. That's why I went to see it. I'm like, that's all I want to see. Like I want to see that. I want to see the tension. I want to see the final girl beat him.
Yeah. Yes.
Boom. That's all I need. Like I'm going for that formula. Like I don't need anything else.
Right.
I But some people I think are going like with the idea of like, I need to recapture that feeling I had when I was 13 years old and I saw this.
Huh.
And I was scared to death. And you're never going to have that again because you're a fucking grown up. And the things that scare you to death aren't like a dude in a mask that broke out of an insane asylum, because you know that most people that actually get killed by like their uncle.
Yeah.
Right.
Or the
you know what I'm
fucking
saying?
ex-husband.
Like, yeah. Like, you know, that like the things that are actually scary are like something happening to my family or like losing my job.
Or like that dude last year in Philly who there was like people getting out of their street with the snow or something. And the dude just went to his house and got a gun and fucking killed them.
Yeah.
Like their neighbors. They were like talking shit to him.
Yeah. Like that's the shit that's scary. It's not like a lunatic.
Right.
Yeah. So like to me, these movies are escapism. Like, I don't care. Like, I just want to like go laugh, you know, sort of bug out on some things. And it's like, I think the Halloween movie is too self-serious in general, like Halloween.
Okay.
Whereas like Friday the 13th is a much better series.
Huh.
Because it knows what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like the first like 4 movies are like legit scary.
Okay.
Right. But then after it, it's like, it's just camp. But you know what I mean? They like, part 6 is one of the funniest like horror movies you'll ever see.
Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th part 6. It's like, it's like pre like Scream. Like it's meta. It knows what it is. It's poking fun at what it is. And it's just a good, fun movie.
Okay.
You know, then they have shit where it's like a psychic comes in and fights Jason, like with psychic powers. Jason goes to Manhattan.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like Jason goes to space.
Right.
Like it's just like silly shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, so maybe like because they do that, they don't have those heavy expectations on it. And it's a much more enjoyable movie. Okay.
So ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to compare this to Jay and Nas.
Okay.
All right. So there's a amazing quote in that show Mayor of Easttown, right? Which I talked about earlier today.
Yeah, it's great show.
Every scene are like, yo, you want to drink your Wawa coffee? Like it was so ridiculous. Easttown, dude, every house in Easttown is right where I work. The most busted, fucked up house in Easttown is $600,000. Okay.
Jesus.
These are not white trash like locals. This is like high-end money. They I don't know why they call it Easttown. Easttown is a lot of money. All right. So she has a line there where she says that the dude from American Horror Story, she's like, you know, doing something great is overrated because then people expect that from you all the time. What they don't realize is you're just as screwed up as they are.
Yeah.
Wise words. So Halloween, Nas, do something right out of the box, changes everything, right? Revolutionary. Yeah. Well, now everyone's like, man, I can only go up from here, which isn't true. Jay, Friday the 13th, all those other movies. Jay, as we talked about on our show, Jay did not do something great out of the box.
No.
He retconned it and talked about it as he became a millionaire, became a pop star to make people think he did. Yep. But at the time, like, no one was sitting there being like, wow, regrets. This is the most powerful song about a drug dealer I've ever heard in my life. People were saying that about like Suicidal Thoughts with Big, or they were saying about that with One Love. They weren't playing fucking Regrets and saying that shit. No one was.
And nobody was saying who's the greatest MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas.
Nobody. I remember this. I will say this real quick. I had an issue of Blaze magazine. Right, and it's got Method Man on the cover. And this is like right after Big died.
Okay.
And it was one page and it had 3 different spaces on the page breaking down the argument who's the best.
Yeah.
Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas. And it was like a really thing. And I remember they quoted the Jay lyric, you know, words worth a million, like I'm rapping them through platinum teeth, right? And I remember at the time I was like, well, this is patently fucking ridiculous to even compare this guy to Nas and Big. And this is like 98.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's interesting to even have his fucking picture and someone writing 300 words to even build a case, right? Which is insane. However, Jay didn't do something great until we talked. For us on this show, it's Volume 3.
Volume 3, yeah.
Right. But Volume 2 is bigger than any Nas album ever made.
Yep.
Right. And then after that, like Rock La Familia and like the singles, like Jay asserted himself early on, like you said about the Friday 13th movies and Nightmare on Elm Street. Like Jay was like, I'm a singles guy. I'm the hot guy. I'm hot. I make it hot. Ain't no N-bomb. Hot song. I'm on hot records with hot people, R&B songs, right?
Yep.
Nas was like, I redefined the format of, like you said, East Coast rap, New York City God. Whereas Jay's like, you know, I take this and I take this and then and it runs the summer.
Yep.
And then 5 albums later, I'll do something. And then Blueprint, which everyone's like, oh, you know, it's quite a fucking opus. Well, okay. But he's always been like, you know what I'm about. I'm about banging this shit in your car. I'm about, you know what I mean? And then later on, when he wanted to segue out of that, he's like, well, see, I was always giving you gems about the hustler way of life and how to get out of it. And, you know, it was more of like a manual for you to understand. And I was like, no, dude, you were about popping bottles, making people be like, I want to buy all the shit he's talking about. I want to buy the fucking Rocawear clothes and the Ace of Spades champagne and go to 40/40 Club. Like, I want to be this fucking guy. Not like, man, this is a Smithsonian piece of art that we need to observe. Like, I don't think people wanted to be Nas. I think rappers wanted to be Nas. Yeah. But I don't think regular people wanted to be Nas, right?
No.
Regular people want to be Jay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a very different set of stand. But why do people want to be Jay? It's not like, well, because I heard Reasonable Doubt. And that
it seems like it's fun to be Jay.
It seems like it's fun to be Jay, right?
Yeah.
So when you watch like the Nightmare on Elm Street shits and some of these whacked out Friday the 13th you talk about, it's just like, yo, man, give us 90 minutes, have a fucking ball.
Yeah. Jay-Z scream.
He screamed. Wow. That's a good point right there. And I think the curse of Nas and then the Halloween thing is, like you said, the connection people have is to the feeling it gave them 30 to 40 years ago. Yeah. But Jay doesn't give you that one connection 30 to 40 years ago.
No. Jay gives you a generation of connections.
Right. Then he's like, oh, here's the songs of me and Beyonce that are huge. You know what I mean? Like, here's the me and Kanye songs that are huge. Yeah. Here's me popping up on fucking Diamonds Are Forever remix, or even with Push It, like Drug Dealer Anonymous, or wherever else. Go Crazy remix. That was huge at the moment with Jeezy, right? And that's it. But there's so many of them, but it's not like this. But he'll, again, he tries to tell you that, and then the fucking sycophants try to run with it, that he's just like, that was, that was the whole thing about the Blueprint thing. I'm like, did you guys never hear Supreme Clientele? Like, actually, Ghostface brought soul samples back, bro. Yeah. Like, it wasn't fucking Jay-Z and Rockefeller Records. It was Ghostface.
No, it certainly was not. It was Ghostface.
And then album went platinum. So it's not like this is some like Fondle 'em record, just B-side. We're talking
exactly.
Sony Records $1 million investment. So anyway, I think that was what I was running through my head when you're talking about these pieces that don't have these standards. Like, I remember I saw Freddie versus Jason in the theater. I had like some sneak preview. And again, I'm not well versed in every single one of these movies at all. And I was like, oh, this is going to be funny. It's just going to be these two polar opposite characters. It would be like I'm trying to think of like other it would be like Deadpool versus like Black Bolt from Inhumans. Yeah. His whole power is he doesn't talk.
I mean, it's Watch the Throne.
Right. It's like,
it's Run the Jewels.
Run the Jewels. It is Run the Jewels.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, look at this.
That's pretty cool.
But like, and I think the thing with Halloween and with Nas is that like, they both have something in their collection that nobody else has. And it's the legitimate masterpiece.
It is.
But unfortunately for them, it was the very first thing that they ever did, and everything from then on will be compared to it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of not being compared.
Yeah.
With
the incomparable.
The man of the shadows. Clock it in.
What up, Castro?
Clock it in very late.
Shit.
There we go.
Oh, fucking Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ. What's up, yo?
What's
going on, man?
You just we did an impromptu Zilla and Alaska, just hanging out.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah.
You just waking up, man?
Yeah, I passed out. I was trying to just take a little nap at like 5.
Oof.
Okay. Sounds like you needed it.
Yeah, I'm just, you know how it is. I was just zigzagging and white. Like today was like 7 hours to get back here. Not bad, but it was like we had a bus from Providence to New York straight.
Oh wow!
And that was after driving last night from Manchester, New Hampshire. So we finished the show and we drove through the night from New Hampshire back to Rhode Island.
God.
We did a zigzag. So we did Vermont twice, but we went to Vermont, then back down to New Haven and back to Vermont.
Wow.
And that was the venue you complimented the way it looked.
Yeah, it looked cool as shit.
But that ended up, all right, so you know how you rank when you go on tour and stuff. So that ended up being like the worst spot money-wise.
Okay.
And music-wise.
Okay.
The main music was fine and clear. DJ set was loud, but somehow they plugged us in to the set and not directly into the board because our stuff was like muffled. It was the only time the music sounded jacked. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Oh, that's whack.
It was like that. But then as soon as like Jesse was opening for us, shout out my man Jesse the Tree. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like when they went back to the DJ, everything was loud and clear again. So we was like, what's going on here? Like, what are we plugged in? So then you're playing that dance of turning the music or whatever up and down on the SB404, and then you're trying to turn it up and down on your computer. You know what I'm saying? To try to get some type of equality there.
Yeah.
But that should be taken care of with the sound people and shit. So anyway, sorry. Didn't mean to ramble.
Yeah. Well, how about this? Castro, would you want to do like 15 minutes for Patreon?
Yeah, we could do that.
You want to do that? All right, so how about this? So we did it in reverse order. We were going to do a Castro and Alaska thing real quick for everybody. And then me and Alaska's piece is going to be Patreon. But we haven't done just a straight up Patreon piece in a long time, only for our proud Patreon subscribers. So we're going to wrap up this Zilla and Alaska Halloween Nas. Jay is Freddy. Whatever the fuck we were saying. Peace. And then we'll put that everywhere else. And then on Patreon, you're going to hear me and Alaska and Castro. Fresh home from motherfucking tour. As you hear the man's voice. So we're going to do that next. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Check everybody next time. Call out culture.
Boom.